So for complete the square method, is the second method that we want to look at. And oftentimes teachers, when teaching this, they just go to the rules that the student need to abide by. There is need for us to be able to link what the student have learned before to complete the square method. And as a result of that, I will advise that when we want to teach complete the square method, we first look at completing the square. How do we the concept of squares of numbers? Squares of numbers is something that is not alien to us. What are the ask the student to give you definition or give you examples of squares, and then they will be able to tell you that one square is one, so one is a perfect square. So uh, that is means we are looking at the concept of perfect squares. Perfect squares. So one square will give us one, and 2 squared will give us 4, and they will be able to give you that as many as possible. 4 squared is 16. So I won't be able to give you that. Then you take them to binomials. Don't forget, binomials are algebraic expression with 2 terms. So for example, take them to ask them to expand this 1 square. They have done expansion before, and they will be able to give you the answer to that, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So let them produce as many as possible. X minus 2 squared. So then what will this give? It will give us x squared minus 4x plus 4. Then just let them do as many as possible. You can even group them into just let them have groups, and let them produce different examples. Each group can give us 10 different squares of binomials. So x minus 5 squared, for example, will also give us x squared minus 10x plus 25. Now, so I haven't been able to do that. If they are able to do that in the group, also give them to be able to, if they can actually see the relationship, especially with the second term and the third term. Yes, the second term and the third term. Let them bring out a relationship if they could see anything that exists there. So and from there, you lead them to knowing that the third term can actually be gotten from the second term, and that is if you look at the second term, if you divide it by 2 and square it, you have the third. If you divide minus 4 by 2, you have minus 2, square it, you have 4, which is this. Minus 10, if you divide it by 2, you have what? Minus 5, square it, it will give us that is 25. And then we also realize that it is half of the middle term is what you have here, is what you have in the binomial, in the second part of the binomial, and then half of this is minus 2 is what you have here. Then half of minus 10 is what you can see here, and that is establishing, that is how you can establish the relationship in the results of perfect square. So just give them, let them be able to identify that, and they haven't been able to identify that, they will also, you can also give them some other things to do, like since they have known that, so can they tell you what can be added to x squared possibly minus plus 6x to make it a perfect square, and then let them express that perfect square, and they will tell you surely that based on what they have discovered earlier, that they will look for half of 6. They will find half of 6, and half of 6 will give us what? 3, since it is plus 3. So then they square it, plus 3 squared will give us 9, and they will tell you that whatever that will be here must be 9. So they will tell you that this one here is 9, because they have, so based on what they have discovered. And you can also give them something of this nature, minus 7x. That okay, so you can see this is odd number. Let them also try it. So they will also be able to bring out half of minus 7 and square it, that this is what must be added. So from there you can see that they will have minus 7 over 2 squared, and that is what 49 over 4. So it means they need to add 49 over 4 to this expression to make it a perfect square, and they should also be able to what express it in perfect square. Like for the example, the first one here, it means it will be x plus 3 squared. The second one here will be what? X minus 7 over 2. Whatever they have squared is what they are going to put there, squared. So by the time you establish such relationship for students, it is what they can easily discover how you have done it. So it's just all about discovering, and that is the basic thing that will develop their problem solving skills. So that is, and lastly there is you can also introduce them to something of 4x squared plus 9x. How would they add? What would they add to this? And let them know that in this case now, because what we have been doing so far, coefficient of x squared is always what? 1. So try to do so here too. So it means you can bring out 4 and then divide everything by 4 again. So we have x squared, divide this by 4, then this is plus 9 over 4x. So what we have done here is the same thing as what we have up. Then let them know that in this case, this is, they can now, or even before this, sorry, you can just add k to this. Yes, add k to it before you do that. So I haven't added k. Then like I said, bring out 4 and divide everything inside by 4. So it means you are going to divide k2 by 4. So this is, so it means with what we have learned, this k over 4 that is here is what will make this a perfect square. So meaning that it must be the same thing as half of this square. So just write it out here, that k over 4 is still the same thing as half. You know, here now they have given us that it is k over 4, but the actual thing we know it to be, it should be what? Half of 9 over 4. Half of plus 9 over 4, then square it. So from there, let them find the value of k in this particular equation. Thank you.